Okay, so today I'm going to talk to you about Harvest Toast, and you see a lot of videos going around talking about how great it is. Well, today we're going to give you some reasons why we are considering not renewing our membership with Harvest Toast. So first, for full disclosure, we have only stayed at one Harvest Toast in our whole time of having the membership. And that is not because we've not tried to stay at others, that's just the way it's worked out, and I'll get more into that as we get into the video. But we were able to stay at the Tallahassee Automobile Museum in Florida following the Tampa show last year, and we had a great time. So I definitely don't want to knock on these different hosts for as far as their amenities, their sites, they are incredible. At least for the one that we stayed at, we had an absolutely fabulous time. We were with friends. We made some new friends while we were there. So I just want to get that out there that we've only stayed at one, and I will get into more of that reason as to why. But I also wanted to say for the Tallahassee Automobile Museum, it was excellent, and we actually done a review video on that, and I will link that up here. If you want to, you can check that out. I wanted to give that full disclosure about our stays and our current situation with it, and now we'll get into the meat of what our issues are with it. Okay, so the first reason is that at many of these venues, you end up actually paying more to go to that venue than if you just got a full hookup site for the night. For example, when we went to the Tallahassee Automobile Museum, we actually ended up paying around $40 for admission into the museum. And while it's not required that you go, it is expected that you go. That's why these places are allowing you to come and stay on their property, so you will use their products, their venues, whatever the case may be, the wineries, whatever the different stuff is, the exact same stuff. That is something to keep in mind if you're traveling on a budget. A lot of times this does not save you money, it actually costs you money. I've seen several videos where people say they'll go to a winery and spend $100, so that is definitely something to keep in mind. While I do not blame the venues at all for that, I understand that they got to make money too for you being there. That's something to keep in mind. Plus the fact that if you don't have solar or whatever, you're going to have to run your generator. You're not going to have those hookups, so that's actually costing you a little bit more money as well. So again, those are just things to keep in mind as you get going with this. All right guys, so the number 2 reason that we're considering canceling our membership is many of the destinations can take you well off of the path of where you needed to go. So instead of having a spot right off the interstate that you can get up the next morning and just keep going, you may have a spot where you got to drive 15 or 20 miles out of the way, sometimes even more than that, to get to that special destination. And again, I'm not knocking on the venues for this. That's not their fault. They're located where they're located, but that is something you got to think about as part of this. Is it worth going that far out of your way? Is it worth going up roads that you possibly may not fit into? I've seen comments of that where somebody may have a 35-foot rig, but they actually do not fit up the road to get there. So the venue says they'll fit, but they're not able to fit to get up there, or they have a really hard time with it, scratch up their RV, whatever the case may be. I think for some of these, if you're smaller, you're in a lot better situation. Okay, so the number 3 reason would be vendors that do not answer their phone when you try to call or book a stay, or they'll ask you to leave a message and then they do not call back. So this has been one of the reasons why we have not been able to successfully do any more stays since going forward after Tallahassee. So what we found was that after we left, we tried to book several Harvest Toast up through Alabama, and we were never able to either get them to answer the phone or to call us back. So this is pre-COVID, so at that point, no reason why they wouldn't have answered. After COVID, when we came back from Pennsylvania, just here very recently, we ran into the same problem. Either we would call and they wouldn't answer, they wouldn't call back, or we did also run into the problem of the sites were full. And if the sites are full, they're full. That's just part of it. But the ones where they don't call or they don't answer, or then they don't call you back if you leave the message, that is pretty unprofessional, and that is on the host. Harvest Toast as a company can't control that, but the hosts need to do a better job of calling, getting back with people. So my question to everybody else out there is, have you experienced that in the past where you've called the book and it's either full, or you called and they never answer, or you call and you leave a message and they never get back with you? Okay, so reason number 4 is the continued growth of Harvest Toast. So in the past year, since we've been members, we've seen it grow a whole lot. Obviously, a lot of people are talking about some of the great venues that you can go to, which brings in new people. Also, over the past several months, there has been a surge in RV sales, camper sales. Everything is going like crazy right now. So I expect that surge to continue with stuff like that going on. So is it going to be hard to get these sites? So far, what we have found is the ones that we have been able to get a call back for, which I'll throw examples down coming down when we came back from Pennsylvania. We did get through to 2 sites, but they were full, so we weren't able to stay there. And again, I don't blame the venues for that. You know, if they're full, they're full. But it's something to keep in mind that as this grows, as it expands, as Harvest Host gets bigger, as RVing gets bigger in general, these sites are going to start getting a lot more full. We've ran into that now a couple of times. So our limited use is one of the reasons why we are considering not renewing this membership, and this is part of it as well. Either, you know, like I say, it goes back to the last one where they don't answer, or they don't call back, or when you do get a call back or you get an answer, they're full. So that's another problem that we're starting to see with this membership now. It's just the limited availability of spaces to go where you need to go to. Okay, so the fifth and probably the main reason why we are disappointed with Harvest Host is their handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. So basically, a lot of memberships, and I'm going to use Escapees as an example because I know they did this, offered a 3-month extension through that time where everything was shut down. Well, the same thing happened to a lot of the Harvest Host sites, and again, I don't blame the venues for that. You know, everything was shutting down. Everybody was trying to be safe. So, you know, for that reason, I understand them shutting down the venues. But Harvest Host, to my knowledge, never came across and offered anything. So they never offered any kind of extension on your current membership, and people literally were not able to use this for 3 months. Me as a full-timer, I did try. The few that I called, if they did answer, they were closed. So that was, you know, that was one of the things that we ran into. But I think the right thing for Harvest Host to have done in that situation would be to extend the memberships, because they really have no cost in this game. They've got the cost of maintaining their app, their daily internet site, but other than that, they're just basically putting people together with venues. So, you know, for that reason, I think that would have been the proper thing to do, to extend for 3 months, just like Escapees did, just like Disney World did, just like Dollywood did in Tennessee. You know, everybody offered this up except for Harvest Host at this point. So that was one of the areas I was very disappointed with them on. So in closing, guys, I'll leave you with this. Have you renewed your Harvest Host already? Are you a new member considering renewing? What are your thoughts on going forward with Harvest Host? We are still very much undecided. We are currently at the highest membership where you get all the venues, plus you get the golf courses and stuff added in. So our yearly fee is right around $120. We're thinking maybe dropping down to the cheaper, around the $80 membership, but we're still just totally undecided if we're going to do the whole thing. So what are your thoughts on this? I look forward to reading your comments below. Looking forward to any feedback that you have to offer. And I will also put a playlist to some other campgrounds somewhere up here, either Thousand Trails or just an overall playlist for you to watch through. But I appreciate everybody for watching, and I hope you will like and subscribe to the channel. If you like what you're seeing here, there will be a lot more to come. Thank you, guys.